Hello! It has been probably 2 weeks since I was able to record a video. I am getting married this Saturday, and so I have been moving all my stuff into Tyler's home, which will soon be our home. And as a wedding gift, Tyler built out an entire special room for me in his basement from the ground up, and that's what I'm sitting in right now. I chose this paint color, and he put in wonderful lighting, and this is just amazing. And my feet are on the most cushiony, comfortable carpet in the world. So I am going to share a little tutorial of this little space. So this is his basement. As you can see, like, there was nothing down here. Tyler built this area from the ground up, literally. He is so talented. He taught himself how to do everything. He redid the wiring. The electricity he did himself in here, and this is my special space that he built for me, which is so precious. And so I've just moved my desk in here. I do have a window, my inversion table. This is where I'm recording right now, and this might be my favorite part. This is a built-in sauna. So he went and got pine. It smells amazing. There's underlay underneath here to soak up moisture so I can sweat my brain out. And eventually we're gonna put our infrared and red lights up in here and close it, and that will be the sauna. So that is it. And I will be sure to be sharing on Instagram as I continue to add my stuff. But this is probably the most amazing gift that anyone has ever given me, and I am so grateful. All right, so on to the topic for today. You guys had taken a poll on Instagram on the videos that you wanted me to make next. About a week ago, a week and a half maybe, I really felt God put something on my heart. It was about transitioning from being on a rigid diet when you're healing. So to briefly summarize my healing journey, I have over 15 years of experience with the ketogenic diet. I was keto for over 15 years. I never ate the standard American diet. I was never vegan, which you may think when you see my before and after pictures. I was emaciated. You are not what you eat. You are what you absorb. I was not absorbing nutrients, and I was diagnosed with a chronic CDiff infection. CDiff is a bad bacteria that takes over the good bacteria in your gut. So that is why I became so malnourished and depleted. Now, with the ketogenic diet, I was including a lot of foods that were high in oxalate. Oxalate is an anti-nutrient. There are other anti-nutrients, but to me, this is the most, this is the biggest predator in the family of anti-nutrients. I feel like this one is impacting the most people on the largest scale. It can impact your mood, your digestion, your thyroid, your sperm. It can impact your skin. It can give you urinary tract infections. It can just cause so many issues. And for me, it was binding to the nutrients that I was eating and preventing absorption. I hooked up with Sally Norton on the phone one day, and she told me about these oxalates, and I thought she was a quack. I thought she was out of her mind, telling me to cut out the baby spinach, the turmeric, the cinnamon, the black pepper. These are all high oxalate foods, but they're also so-called superfoods. So I did, and I dove into the carnivore diet, but I tried it 8 times, and I felt worse each time because I kept doing just beef, salt, and water. So the game changer for me was allowing myself to have some variety and to really use my critical thinking skills instead of putting myself into this rigid box that everyone kept telling me to fit into, which just made me feel worse. And honestly, it triggered an actual eating disorder, binge eating. The sight of my own emaciated body was extremely triggering to me. I just needed to gain weight to save my life, and I couldn't seem to do that. So I surrendered the keto treats because I knew that I was addicted to them. I knew that was not God's will. So I surrendered that, and in that, I dove into the carnivore diet, again, in a way that was more sustainable for me. I adopted the mechanisms behind why carnivore works. Removing anti-nutrients, filling up on the most bioavailable nutrients possible. I also optimized the fat, the lipid profiles that I was consuming. So that means less pork and chicken and more of those ruminant animal fats. Billy Doe Meats was so helpful in doing that with all of their lamb, which is extremely rich in fat. So you're getting tons of stearic acid, conjugated linoleic acid, and saturated animal fat, which is all going to heal and seal your gut. So no, I'm not telling you that you can't eat pork or chicken, but I'm just including as a tip, that is something that I was able to do. Over 10 autoimmune diseases, chronic Lyme disease, chronic C. diff is where I'm coming from. I tried so many different things in my past. I tried Whole30, I tried AIP, I tried low FODMAP, I did paleo, I did keto. So when I embarked on this more sustainable version of the carnivore diet, I gave myself permission to color outside the lines and to use my critical thinking skills, which God gave me when I surrendered that ketogenic, the food addiction. He really blessed me with, okay, well, here are the next steps. And it was really just a matter of taking one step at a time. When I started it, I did not do butter. I did not do eggs. I did not try to introduce those for a full year. I waited for my thyroid, the hypothyroidism, to be reversed. I waited until I was feeling stable. I started my period when I got to 104 pounds. I started this at 69 pounds, so I was about halfway through. This was around the time that the pandemic happened. That is also when I switched to one meal a day, and I continued to gain healthy weight on one meal a day, and that is a video for another day. Be looking out for that. I'm going to do a video on fasting 101. So I introduced butter. The first time I introduced it, I did it for like 3 days in small amounts, and I started to get arthritic symptoms. I started to feel a lot of pain in my joints, so I backed off. I introduced egg yolks, and I did fantastic. And Nellie's sent me a bunch of coupons, and I went and got tons of eggs, and I was literally eating 18 egg yolks every day for 2 weeks. I was using my custard recipe. I will link that recipe in the description. It's also on Instagram. And basically this is just egg yolks and lemon or lime juice and some fat. And it's just a delicious, it's a curd technically, and it's so refreshing, and all that wonderful fat and those nutrients and the choline from the eggs. I felt like I was taking drugs. Like I was just like elevated because of all those nutrients. Those egg yolks are awesome. So I did well with that reintroduction. I did not do well with the butter. I waited a good 3 to 6 months to try butter again, and I did fine with it. So as you heal and seal your gut, you should be able to reintroduce other foods. But I wouldn't even recommend doing that until you are feeling stable. Because what if it goes wrong? What if it goes bad? What if you do have a reaction? What if you feel like you got kicked on your butt? Like when I had those arthritic symptoms, it was kind of upsetting. It was like, man, like I'm still fragile. And this is the term that I want to use, is anti-fragile. So here I am 3 years later, May 2019 to 2022. So 3 years later, I've been doing the carnivore diet. I have reversed every single symptom, every single diagnosis. I am thriving more than I ever have before. I do CrossFit 6 days a week. I sleep like a baby. I don't have mood disorders. I am not in bondage. I have food freedom. And it's incredible. Yet I still have the mindset that my blood sugar is going to go like this if I eat carbs. And I caught myself the other day and I was like, I don't know if that's true. So I tried some of the Perfect Keto cereal made from collagen and MCTs, and it has some carbs in it. And my blood sugar has actually been lower and more stable. Whereas before, I think it would have given me hypoglycemic symptoms or had a spike. Because I was not metabolically flexible, I was running in fight or flight mode, I wasn't sleeping well enough, and my gut was damaged, so I shouldn't have messed with that. So my point is that I'm really glad that I tried something new and it went well, and no, I'm not eating that stuff every day, but it feels really good to know that I can. It feels really good that I am not afraid to eat a peach someday with my child in the summertime. I am definitely not afraid of eating strawberries. I actually have those at my retreats. I serve them after a full meal of fatty, delicious meat. I serve them with my carnivore chocolate syrup sauce made from beef protein isolate, and everyone is feeling great. blood sugars always stabilize on these retreats. It's awesome. So context is key. Understanding where you're at in your healing journey is so important. But what I want to encourage you is to get out of this anti-fragile mindset. So if you have gone through a healing journey and you are stable, you have reached your goals, I think the goal should be to be able to have variety. And there are some people who want to eat just ribeye steak every day. There are people who want to live on burger patties and bacon every day. I so respect you. My hat goes off to you. That is not me. I need variety, and part of the enjoyment of life for me is being able to enjoy different foods. And if Tyler and I have the blessing and opportunity to travel, I'm going to enjoy the cuisine in other countries, and I'm not going to be afraid. I do have non-negotiables. Seed oils. Seed oils have a half-life of 680 days, depending on, the cells that they're embedding themselves into. But up to 680 days, these seed oils can be residing in your body, in your brain, causing inflammation to your body and your brain. To me, that's a non-negotiable. Sugar is not a non-negotiable. Context is key. So I am at the point now where I don't feel so fragile. I don't feel afraid. I have food freedom, and I know that I'm healthy. I know that I'm metabolically flexible, so I can really enjoy that. Now, I choose to not eat carbs every day, even though I tolerate them. Right now, I choose to not eat them every day because of my past relationship with them. When I start eating carbs, I just don't have as much freedom around food. When I just eat fat and protein, like when I'm done, I'm done. Just like that. And I don't even want to think about food. I don't think about food until I'm hungry again. When I eat carbs, it's kind of like, ooh, I can't wait to eat again to have more carbs. Not in a way that it's like bondage or like ruling over me, but I definitely feel that dopamine when I consume carbs, and I kind of don't want that. I want to get dopamine from sunshine and spending time with people I love and doing my work. I just don't really want food to be a part of that on a regular basis. So that's where I stand. But I do tolerate carbs now, and I tolerate other foods. I've reintroduced low carb pizza, so it was like a sausage crust. Dairy I do fine with, carbs I do fine with. The perfect keto cereal, so I can do keto treats. But I have grown so much, and now I know where I stand in terms of my non-negotiables and what works for me. I understand the context that I'm in. I understand also where I am at on a day-to-day basis. So I'm just trying to encourage you to assess where you're at in your healing journey and ask yourself, are you ready to introduce something? Or are you still moving forward, and right now is the time to be consistent and not try something new? Those are two different things, and if you can't identify that, then consider working with someone who can help you, because you should not feel like you are stuck in a box or a more strict or rigid way of eating inevitably, because you're afraid that you'll fall back to where you were. So I've healed. It's a done deal. It's been reversed. It's not just in remission, it's reversed. Like, my labs are testing negative for all those things. So why should I be living like it's still there? So that's really what God was just showing me, like, look what I've done. Start living like it fully. And it's exciting. And I'm going to do it responsibly. I probably won't be that person who starts eating fruit, because I know that it is processed differently by the liver. I probably won't be that person who eats honey because it spikes your blood sugar. I won't be the person who starts drinking milk because it spikes your blood sugar. But I am the person who is experimenting mindfully. So things that I eat on a regular basis now that I did not eat before are sauerkraut, homemade pickles, and a lot of other like carnivore-ish treats, like my carrot cake. I eat that almost every day. I eat egg whites now on a regular basis. I eat whole eggs on a regular basis. And I'm also much more flexible with conventional meats. So I used to react to conventional meat. I went to Costco and got ribeyes, and it like literally felt like a train hit me, and the next morning my eyes were swollen shut. That doesn't happen anymore. Tyler and I go to Fogo, and I do so well with that. And it's exciting. I actually get arugula when I go to Fogo. If you haven't seen the Fogo experience video that I made, check that out. It's kind of fun. So mindfully choosing other foods. I do choose low anti-nutrient foods, low oxalate foods, but that doesn't mean zero. It means let's be mindful of how much I'm taking in today. So I just want to encourage you to be empowered, to know where you're at in your journey, and let the goal be to maybe have some more variety, unless that's not what you want. But I think that I believe that God desires for everyone to have food freedom. So if there's any part of you that feels like you are stuck and you're hitting a plateau, or you're just dreading what you're eating every day, like you would almost just prefer to fast because you're not enjoying your food, I think that you should consider working with someone and troubleshooting how to change things up, how to make this sustainable, how to make this a lifestyle where you're choosing to do what's best for your health. Leave your comments and questions below. I will be hoping to interact with you guys. This is just a topic that's just heavy on my heart, coming out of healing and becoming anti-fragile again, because we should not stay stuck in that place.